Students, today we will do history, that is first chapter, sources of history, 9th standard. Okay, now what do you mean by sources? Sources means the availability to know about the history. And what is the meaning of history? History means his story. That means the stories of the past. And how do we come to know about the history of our ancestral? We come to know the history of our ancestral through various sources like the written material, then material sources or oral sources. कभी कभी न्यूज़पेपर में कुछ आर्टिकल्स लिखा रहता है, रिटन मटेरियल्स बोले तो पहले ज़माने में पेपर नहीं था, ताल पत्ती में लिखते थे, उसको बोलते हैं रिटन मटेरियल्स. ठीक है. और मटेरियल सोर्सेस बोले तो कॉइन्स है ना. कॉइन्स डिफरेंट प्रकार के होते थे, गोल्ड, सिल्वर, ब्रॉन्ज, दे आर नोन एज मटेरियल सोर्सेस. स्टोन्स, then old buildings, monuments. Okay, then oral sources means what? जो मुँह से पास ऑन होता था हिस्ट्री. ओरल means in the form of song, in the form of story. Yes, and sources in the audio visual कब हुआ? वो मॉडर्न ज़माने में हुआ है. In the modern period, that is known as the audio visual. Now different religion and regions, they had their own history in the state level as well as in national level and in international level. गांव का थोड़ा हिस्ट्री अलग होता है, फिर इंडिया का अलग होता है, इंटरनेशनल का अलग होता है. सो हिस्ट्री is differing from country to country, but the base remains the one. Okay, now the written sources. Now what are the written sources? The written sources must be the newspapers, magazines, okay, then small books, that all. Then periodical means the timeline from which period to which period. Then diaries, that is the written form, diary. Then reference book, we are having historical reference book. Then correspondence, then document in the archives. Documents in the archive means the books or the historical places where documents are being preserved, that is known as archives. Then government gadgets means what? The government files, the documents. Then we come to know history from the postal stamps you are knowing, no? The post department में होता, लेटर में हम चिपकाते हैं. Then we come to know about a written history from the encyclopedias, that is also a book. Okay, now about newspapers. In through newspapers we get information from our whole country, India. Then we get from national, then international levels what is going on. Their international affair news we get, political, arts, sports, literature, and social and cultural affair we get all the news. About human life also we get the news, how the life is been going on in and around the world. Then various types of movements, diaries and weeklies of political parties also we come to know through the newspapers. Annual magazines we come to know. All information we get through the newspaper print. Now newspaper was the first thing to come to know about the news. Then slowly about newspapers, it became means old fashioned newspapers. Then we started to move. The fastest means was the radio. Yes, radio means Press Trust of India, PTI. Now this PTI, slowly news began to develop. Reporters covered news, they gave photographs, then about financial, scientific issues were also discussed in the newspapers. The Press Trust of India had become online. Now it is our modern age, it became online. Then online became by using the satellite broadcasting. Then technology, that is satellite technology, we begin to use instead of the teleprint. In olden days, teleprint was there. Now we are having online system. Okay, this much of page number 1 I have explained you. Now I will read for you, then pay attention. Okay.